lot of questions that need to be answered. Why we're sitting on the floor? What actually we're celebrating? What exactly we're doing here? Why we're not eating? Why we're not drinking? Why we're wearing shoes and not made of leather? So there is many questions. The importance of having those questions is to make sure that we are aware. Awareness is everything. Once we are aware of why we're doing what we're doing, we get something out of it. If we are not aware of why we're doing that, then it turned to become a dogma. It turned to become tradition that eventually will not benefit what we need exactly to get from this event. Because without Rabbi Isaac Luria, we would not really fully understood what this event is all about. We cannot. Because, if you look at this event, I don't know how many of you went to Orthodox Jewish school. If you went to Jewish Orthodox school, most probably tonight you're celebrating the destruction of the temple. That's what you're doing. That's it. That's as far as you're going to celebrate. Temple was destroyed. We are sitting on the floor to mourn the temple. That's what you're going to hear. That's what the school will tell you. But of course, we cannot mourn a building that's been destroyed. Cannot. There is a meaning to it. There is a secret to it. Once we understand the meaning and the secret, we can get something out of it. Because after that, when we're going to read the Megillah, which is only in Hebrew, and most even people who speak Hebrew cannot even understand the meaning of it, what's the purpose of that? There is a meaning for everything. All right? So, again, let's first answer the few simple questions, and then we go deep into the Ari, the Zohar, even Kerem Shlomo tonight, because we want to get the best benefit from it. The idea, every time somebody's sitting on the floor, even if somebody, God forbid, lost somebody dear to them, it's called mourning. You mourn somebody, or in Hebrew, they call it sitting Shiva, Chas v'Shalom. So people would say sitting Shiva. Sitting means to sit on the floor. Shiva is the same number in Hebrew for Sheva, 7. So people are sitting 7 days mourning. It's called sitting Shiva. That's a translation, basically, very simple. So what's the purpose of sitting on the floor when, bli nara, all of us have the people that we love around us? So why we're sitting? Is it mourning the temple? The temple basically was a structure, a building, that representing the levels of our spirituality. Meaning if the building is not here, our level of spirituality is not so high. If the level of spirituality go down, then that building cannot be exist. And that's why the Gemara, the Talmud said, I will say it first in Hebrew, Dor, a generation, Shelo nivna bet hamikdash beyamav, that the temple was not destroyed in their time, not built in their time, kilu em ichrivuto. It seemed like as if they are the one who destroyed the temple. How can that be? None of us are living in Jerusalem. It's not our responsibility or fault. We didn't go to Jerusalem to destroy the temple. So why they're blaming us that if it's not been built in our time, that's mean we're destroying it. So when we're sitting on the floor and close to the, what is the floor? Floor is Malchut. Malchut is that desire to receive, is the engine of receiving. The engine of receiving. So when we are lower ourselves to the lowest level we can, as much as we can, that's when we lower our level of understanding that we are really didn't accomplish the mission. At least today is the day that is been defined if spiritually we accomplished the mission as a group or we didn't. How do we know you accomplished the mission? We wouldn't do that right now. We wouldn't do that. If the temple will be built, we wouldn't sit on the floor. We wouldn't have some candles. We wouldn't have some pillow on the floor. We wouldn't have those. But because the temple is not here, it's showing us that we lack unity. We lack seeing the good in one another. We have issues. We have issues. Once we overcome that, then the temple will build itself by itself. So that's first thing. Why fabric shoes? Why not leather shoes? Well, the leather, what is a leather? Like the mezuzah, right? It's drawing energy, very strong to draw energy. So when you avoid yourself from using leather or things, especially in the shoes, which is malchut, you are basically reminding yourself that today you want to work on no desire for the body, no desire for yourself. Why not food, not water? Why are we fasting? Same reason. We are controlling that body that caused so much harm to bring us to this point that not even the temple has been built, nothing. And then, of course, washing the hand. You wash your hand till the tip of your finger, okay? Nothing more than that, all right? And all those things is actually the idea of drawing attention, you know? People love to draw attention. Some people, that's all what they want, to get a little attention. Drawing attention, that's what bury the whole community. Doesn't bury one person, by the way. Person who want to draw attention, bury everybody with them. So if it will be just your energy, your territory of your energy, is if you go down, you go down. And if you go up, you go up. Nobody will get hurt. But one person who's doing it wrong, everybody got to go wrong with them. That's the way it goes, unfortunately. That's the way it goes. So that's the shoes, that's the food, that's the water. No shower, no perfume, no intercourse, no sexual relationship. All of those things has to do with the body. And the body has to gain control tonight and tomorrow. Now, we know that every day, we have 365 days. Every day is ever corresponding to one of the nerve in the body. You have 365 ligament or nerve in your body. So what corresponding to Tisha B'Av? The sciatic nerve. Meaning the sciatic nerve was hurt by the dark side or hurt Jacob. So tonight, we don't want to give benefit to the dark side, because if you give benefit, he's taken. So we give him nothing, empty. We're running on empty. No food, no water, no joy. But it's not because of mourning of the temple. If you're mourning the temple, you're missing the whole point. It's like fighting with your shadow to lose weight. That's how stupid it is. You're fighting with your shadow, look at the shadow, pretty fat. I'm going to erase that fat away. It doesn't do any good. You got to go to the core, you got to go to the seed, you got to go to the reason, you got to know to the why. So, before I'm reading the Ari and the Zohar, I'm sorry if I go long, but I have nothing else to do tonight, so. I enjoy that's where am I going? This is it. So it say, we're going to read in the Megillah, Dov Orev Uli Ari Bamestarim. In Echa, by the way, is a Megillah that was written by Jeremiah. Jeremiah was the prophet that announced always the bad news. You know those people who come up with the bad news? Like what's going to happen? But it was the true bad news. It's actually, he told people, if you don't change, the temple will be this, don't worry about it. So that's why we're reading Jeremiah. Maybe we're going to wake up. Just to let us understand, not to be depressed, but a little bit depressed will help a little bit. We are so far from even getting depressed over the fact that we're not even close to understand. We're not even a little bit close to start understand that the temple is not there. What we're going to do after tonight? We're going to go to sleep, go to our house, same thing. But we are not like, oh my God, the temple is not there. There's no such a thing. Nobody is like, oh my God, what are we going to do now? We have no temple. What are we going to do? So he said, Dov Orev Li Ari Bamistarim. It's like a bear, the enemy, or whatever it is like hiding to me, and in hidden, that bear become a lion. What does that mean? יש לומר הכוונה, when the temple was built, the holiness of the temple will cause a person never to want to do something bad. So the desire to do something bad is because the temple is not here. Very simple. Where are we taking it? From Midrash Tanchuma, Parashat Pinchas. Portion of Pinchas, Tanchuma is related to Rabbi Shimon. And it's written like this. מעולם לא לן אדם בירושלים. Never happened that a person will go into Jerusalem. ובידו עוון. Somebody in Jerusalem would never go to sleep with a crime in their hand. But when the temple was destroyed, right away, everybody was jealous, angry, killing, stealing, everything started to go wrong. So from here we understand, tell us Kerem Shlomo, Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, we call it bear. What does that mean? It means that the enemy of a person look like a bear. The temple look like a lion. That's what Masechet Midot, it's in the Gemara. And the idea, and that's why it say that the angels that saw the temple was destroyed, they call them Arikel or Ariel, which is also like a lion, because Ariel is a lion. So in Jeremiah, it say that the bear was there to make sure I will do some crime. But thank God for the lion that was hidden, okay? Because when the temple was destroyed, it wasn't disappeared, it was just hidden. So when the temple was exist, it was enough to prevent the person from doing something bad. It's also saying in the Zohar that when a person sacrifices something in the temple, if the person mean it as the right awareness, the flame will look like a lion. If the awareness will not be there, the flame will look like a dog. That's how the person would know it was accepted or not been accepted. This is one thing. Now, what are we doing? What is the exact things that we can do to make things better? Well, Jeremiah or Echa, or the Mekubalim, the Kabbalist, had 5 paragraphs. 5 paragraphs we're going to read. The reason I'm doing a long lecture because this is very short, you know. And those 5 paragraphs are going according to the order of the Hebrew alphabet. Why 5? Basically, like the 5 sefirot, those of you who know. Keter, Chochmah, Binah, Zer Alpin, Malchut. The only problem that the last paragraph has 22 verses, like supposed to be 22 Hebrew letters, but it doesn't go according to the order. Why? Because the last paragraph corresponding to our universe, Malchut. Malchut is a mess. Where we living, nothing is in order. Or at least it's not seem to have an order, but there is a perfect order. We just don't have the tool to see the order in Malchut. What we're doing here tonight, break in. We are basically hack into that system that we can find the order, the perfect order, because the temple is also there. What do you think? The temple is not there? Of course it's there. Of course. Never left. But what been left, our ability to see the temple, our ability to connect to that fulfillment, it's gone. That's what we need to get tonight. It's a very important thing. Very important thing. If you want to say what will be the most important transformation of 24 hours of your life, it's tonight. It's the strongest transformation, more than any other holiday. What kind of holiday has a syndrome? What do you call it? A double personality syndrome, split personality, schizophrenic holiday. Why is this a schizophrenic holiday? Right now we're sitting on the floor. Every part of the prayer is Shva. Shva, if you remember, we announced Shva. It looked like 2 dots. 2 dots is Gvura. Gvura is being negativity, left column. Tomorrow in Mincha, every part of the tefillah is Segol. Segol means Chesed. What happened? So, schizophrenic. Tonight, we mourn the temple. Tomorrow, after, what time is it? 1? After 1:01, we celebrate the Messiah. Can do it, right? Can do it to us like this, right? We're going to sleep, we're going to wake up, Messiah. Because it's written in the Gemara, the Messiah is supposed to be born on Tisha B'Av. But it's also written that the temple was destroyed 2 times, same day. It's also written in the Gemara it was destroyed 2 times for the same reason. We couldn't stand each other. Very simple. You got to say it the way it is. And if sometimes depression is supposed to motivate you to change. But today, everybody has to be politically correct. Don't say depressed. You got to lower down to talk. And what it does? Nothing. In the end, you know what happened? Nothing. Nothing. Zero. By the way, zero result. One of the things, there is a great motivational speaker that started changing. I'm very proud of him. I don't know if you heard his name. His name is Tony Robbins. He's changing. He decided to work on himself. Very proud of him. In May, he changed. So the reason I'm very proud of him, because he say the one thing I can't stand, that's what he say, is when people say positive thinking. He said positive thinking is the most depressing thing that exists. Because if you have to say positive thinking, that's when you're pretty much depressed. Why don't you call it reality thinking? Very interesting. So the reason I share with you that a person who doesn't get into the deep depression will not be able to climb tomorrow to the level that he needs to go. But depression doesn't mean to be busy with myself. I'm depressed that I'm not part of those people who are able to build a temple. But if you're depressed and you just want people to feel your depression, that's not the goal. The goal is to feel, hey, what's going on? It's happening. It's happening. Why am I not able to do it? That's the very important part. Very important part. We need to get into that sadness, but not from a sadness point of view. From almost like as deep as you go, as high as you're going to climb. Not from a point of, I need to go deep into it. Because some people enjoy being sad. And then when they go into it, they stay there. Because it's fun. Everybody have mercy on you. Everybody look at you. Dangerous. Anyway. Another part that I want to read from the Ari. And the Ari write something very interesting, shocking, very shocking. It says Tisha B'Av we say Echa, we say everything, and then tomorrow we sit on a regular chair. Why? Because the true fire of the temple, when they burn the temple, happened tomorrow morning. Weird. Tomorrow morning. And when the fire touched the temple, when was it exactly? Mincha. Tomorrow, after 1 p.m., that's actually when the temple was burned. היה ראוי להחמיר במנחה יותר מבשחר. So why not tomorrow we put the Shva? We shouldn't put Shva. There's not even fire tonight in the temple. So tonight put the Segol, tomorrow you put the Shva. The actual fire took a place then. Right? Difficult one. And we need to understand that Seir Rabbi is a Kluria. We need to understand that. And he's bringing it from Masechet Kiddushin, a section in Kiddushin, in Rashi. And it say, in the beginning, the enemy start to kill all the Israelites. He start slaughtering every Israelite in Jerusalem until the blood reached a little bit above the knee level. So the Israelite, losing everybody, a few people hiding behind stone, they think there is no more hope. ואז חשבו ישראל שלא יהיה חס ושלום תקומה למפלתם. They were sure that there would be no hope anymore for Israelite. But when they saw that they put fire into the temple, when it was מנחה, אז אמרו מזמור ושמחו שמחה גדולה. Very weird, what I'm going to translate to you. At that moment that they saw there is fire in the temple, they start singing and they start celebrating. What are we doing? The Ari said, it's from the Gemara, from the Talmud. Not only they didn't mourn, they start celebrating. I repeat, v'samchu simcha gedola. You know what samchu? The word samchu in the verb mean happy. Simcha, happiness. Gedola mean great happiness. V'kiblu nechama. And then they were relaxed and they knew that the good days are coming. Weird, weird. Either they have some mental problem, you know. How can you celebrate after the temple been burned? While the temple is burned, they say, oh, Baruch Hashem, now we know good news are coming. How can we get out of it? That's Talmud, and that's Dari. And that's how they explain Dari. כי אם חס ושלום, לא היה הקדוש ברוך הוא מצליח חמותו לעצים ועל האבנים, they finally realized that when they look at the temple being burned, it was made of stone and made of woods. And it say, when they saw that the anger and the negativity is going after the temple, they start singing. Now, we need to understand that. What does that mean? That they start singing. And the idea is, if you believe that the temple is the temple of God, can you truly burn it? Exactly. When they realize that their problem, that their experiences is an illusion, at that moment, everything starts to change. Every one of us tonight have to look at our problem. Which problem in your life you're not capable of seeing as an illusion? And which problem you get stuck in it. But the moment that they saw that the temple was destroyed, they realized, yeah, people can kill us, but people cannot kill what we believe is God or what we believe is the temple. Second reason that tomorrow is the positive side of Tisha B'Av, because it says Dari, במנחת תשעה באב נולד המשיח. The Messiah is born in Mincha of Tisha B'Av, and his name, and we call the Messiah name, Menachem. Dari tell you the name of the Messiah. Menachem. What does Menachem mean? Menachem mean, what do we say Menachem? Consult. You know, you to consult something when somebody lost someone. That's what Menachem. So most probably it's not just the name, it's more than that. It's more, the one that come to consult you, somebody who come to tell you that everything's going to be okay. That energy exists tomorrow. Tomorrow. So when you go deep tonight into that feeling of darkness, not for the on of celebrating some little depression you have, but getting in so you can get out of it tomorrow. If you don't do it for that purpose, you will not benefit. You will just stay in the dark. Why would we mourn the whole thing for a certain reason? One more explanation. You're doing so far okay? Any question? You feel you need me to go longer a little bit? More details? Yeah. Good. We have time. Don't worry, everything's going to be okay. Where are we going to go? I don't even have a watch, you see? That's how open-minded I am. Huh? No, just maybe. Can. All right. So, who like Rachel, the matriarch? Anybody is connecting to Rachel like you have a strong connection? Huh? She was Scorpio. Tough, very tough. So, when the temple was destroyed, say the Zohar verse 32, Echa, then a sound came to the Avot. Avot, those of you who have been with us last trip, we went to Hebron, to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So, it was a voice that waked them up. And that voice say, shame on you, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, your children that are you were responsible for, they are in great pain, they are in great sorrow. They die. They were killed. They were taken to exile. They dying from hunger. They burning their home. Where is your mercy? He said to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. That sound came from heaven. So right away, the father and the mother woke up in Machpelah in Hebron. And they went to who? Where were they going? To talk to, they got to have a meeting. Go to Moses. They went to Moses. And they look at Moses and say, Moses, Efo em habanim? Where is the children we left you with? We left you with kids. Our kids we left you with. Efo azafta otam? Where did you leave them? I love it. There's only, not to speak bad about Jewish, but the Jewish, it's you know, well, I give it to you. Miyad nitorer Moshe. Moses woke up, and where did he go? Huh? והלך עמהם ליהושע. He went to Joshua. He went to Joshua. אמר לו, בני, האבות האלה, those parents, the father and the mother, came to me. And God make me in charge of our children. I give them to you. Where are our children? השיב יהושע ואמר, Joshua open and say, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, my master, I left them in the Holy Land. And I divide the land perfectly. That everybody will have a piece of land. It's beautiful. Joshua didn't go forward. He could go. Stop. All of them start walking toward the Holy Land. Can you imagine how many things happen in the Holy Land without we can see it even? They walk back to the Holy Land. And they saw everything destroyed. Yeah, it's soundtrack, like they were walking and the music. We need a camel sound after that, okay? So they're walking into the Holy Land, and they saw burning. So they mourn the temple, and they start crying and begging the Creator. And the angel came down to listen to them. So God, they're awakening the power of God. I mean, what does that mean, awakening the power of God? God needs a wake-up call. What is the awakening the power of God? Mean that power that's called God always exists. But you need enough desire from your point of view to get it. The strongest desire a person has is pain. Depression, pain, that's the strongest desire you can have. Unfortunately, people who get depressed and pain, they don't have strong desire. They get pain and then the pain goes, the next. You gotta be in pain. The pain is a necessity. You gotta be depressed, it's a necessity. But don't be depressed for the sake of being depressed so people give you attention. Be depressed that I'm not there yet. I didn't bring the Messiah. I didn't build the temple. You know, you gotta feel that desire and be disappointed of yourself, but not from a point of, oh, beat myself up. That's silly. There's no point in it. So they went, and God woke up for them, meaning they want enough desire, God woke up. Amar laem, God talked to them and say, Ahuve nafshi, beloved of my soul. God called all of those people. Ma atem kan? What are you doing here? You already died thousands of years ago. Ma li yedidi bebiti. What is my best friend doing in my house? You know, God's house, the temple. Kam Avraham azaken betchila. Of course, Avraham is the number one guy to talk. And he's old. He said, ריבון העולם, master of the world. אתה ידעת שהלכתי לפניך בדרך האמת. I walk behind you with the truth. I follow you with everything. You test me 10 times, I pass every test. What happened to my children, God? Where's the deal? Where's the deal? You know, I do everything, you do everything for them. What happened? He said, where are they? I don't find them. You promised me, God. God look at Avraham and say, Avraham, you get those benefits because you follow me. You did the covenant, the Brit Milah, the circumcision. They don't even care about those things anymore. They're no longer into it. Eventually the page will open up. I'm expecting it on Tisha B'Av. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's got to be. Made it. They do idol worshiping, and that's why I had to do it. And I really forgive them because of you. Abraham heard what God said, couldn't say anything. So he went after Abraham, he went to Isaac, he went to Jacob. Everybody, he talked to them, said, well, they did this bad thing. God told them I had to do what I had to do. The justice is justice. Then he get to who? Rachel. Rachel was screaming and crying. So God came to Rachel and said, Rachel, why are you crying? Why are you crying? You know, I just talked to Moses, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. They're all quiet because I promised that I keep them, but none of the deal, they didn't keep their part of the deal. What do you want me to do? She said to him, how can I not cry when they're all dying? She said. Where is my children? What have they done to you? So God said to her, you know what just happened? The last thing they did, they took idols and they put it into my temple. How can a person do something like that? He said, usually you're quiet and you move away, right? Everyone. She didn't want to move away. She said, don't you remember what I went through with my sister? That you get my own sister into my chuppah and she took my husband? Don't you think that's worse than putting a little temple into your temple? Now, she doesn't talk to a person, she's talking to God. Shocking. And I give up just that my sister will not be ashamed. I gave my house, my love of my love. I gave her Yaakov. I gave her everything just for the sake that one human being will not get insulted. Everybody knows the story. I don't need to repeat, right? Jacob had promised to marry Rachel. And that night, Rachel was replaced by her sister Leah because her father was an evil man. And Rachel saw that her sister Leah would be replaced by her. She didn't want her sister to be insulted. Why? Because a few nights before, Jacob knew it's going to happen. So he said to Rachel, I think your father will try to fool us. So he gave her a few signs just with the finger. So when he looked at her finger, would know it's Rachel and not Leah. Because in those days, they used to cover the whole body. The only thing you can see was the finger. Can you imagine? A wedding for the girls, right? Cover. So, and that's why traditionally, if you see traditionally, if you ever went to Orthodox Jewish wedding, before the wedding start, they actually go and reveal that this is the wife. The husband go to check if this is the wife. Till today. 3,400 years after, before the chuppah start, they go, check, yeah, that's a woman. Yeah, and then they go and get married. Till today. Now what happened? Now listen carefully. What happened? Rachel gave up that thing, and she gave to Leah to take her husband just for the sake that Leah will not get insulted. So she said to God, I did it. I did more than you, she said to God. Can you imagine to talk to God like you? And you, that everybody call you merciful, you, that everybody call you forgiving, you, that everybody call you that you can just let go of things, you should do better than that. Can you imagine? Rachel. Now you know who Rachel is. You know, when you talk about Rachel, you need to read that part. By the way, I wanted to know, I'm reading it because every Tisha B'Av, the Rav used to ask me to read it for the Rav. So the Rav used to read, we're sitting, the Rav said, Eliyahu, please read this part before we do that. That was the part all the time. Because I used to read it with passion, like I'm reading it with you. This is one of my favorite Zohar section. So God said to her, you happen to be right, and please accept Tanachumim. What did he say, Tanachumim? Condolences. Please accept. And what it's written on the grave of Rachel, if you ever read, Kol barama nishma, there is a sound coming from the mountain, Rachel mevaka al banea. Rachel still crying. כי איננו, because her children are not there. לא רצתה לקבל תנחומים. She refused to accept the condolences from God. Can you imagine? מהו הטעם? כי איננו. Because God is not with us like it used to be. She said, I will be depressed until you prove to me you can do better than that. So God says she didn't stop crying. God says she wouldn't accept the condolences. Then he said the verse that you find it on Kever Rachel. כה אמר Hashem, as God been promised, מיני קולך מבכי, stop yourself from crying, ועינך מדיבה, in your eyes from tears, כי יש שכר לפעולתך. There is rewarding for your tears. Right away, 60,000 angels joined Rachel and started crying with her. They were allowed, because before that it was one person. 60,000 angels went down, started crying with her. And she shook 200,000, say the Zohar, of levels of consciousness in the upper world. She shook the places that are hidden to be revealed since Genesis. It was not revealed. And then she say, Echa. Then she say, Echa. Echa mean, how come? How come? There is, of course, I can sit here until the morning, explain to you what Echa mean. Echa also come from the Bereshit. But before we read the Megillah, just to get into a place, into an understanding, we need to really get deep into the dark before we're getting into the light. People don't like it. People want fast solution, microwave consciousness, popcorn, all those things. People don't want getting into, have to swim to a dark place to get to where it belongs. It's like this movie with Tom Hanks, Castaway. I don't know if you ever saw it, based on a true story, when a gentleman has to make decisions staying on an island or go into the ocean. So the feeling you gotta feel tonight, that you make a conscious decision to leave the island you're on because you want to find your family. Rachel didn't care to be accepted by God. Rachel didn't care if she would be accepted by people. She didn't care that Moses was there, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Rivka. Everybody was listening. She didn't care. He didn't care. We care too much how we look, what people say. We can't do that. You want the redemption, you want the temple to be built, you gotta go for it full blast. Full blast. Tzat Hashem, I'm just wishing to all of us that we find tonight a moment that we feel sorry for not pushing a little bit harder. We gotta get into that moment. If you feel the depression becomes stronger than you, then stop. But if you can stay in that dark moment without getting too dark, then go for it. But if it starts capturing you, or you're doing that face of a sad person and people looking at you, then you're getting attention, then stop. That's ego too. Ego has two sides. Ego has a side that you are impress people with the good you do, or you're sucking people energy with the bad thing you do. So find out, be real. And hopefully, with the help of all those wonderful souls with us tonight, Bli Nara, and specifically the Jose of Lublin, the Sir of Lublin was excommunicated by his community. His community kicked him out. When they kicked him out, a lot of rabbis stopped talking to him, a lot of people stopped talking to him, and he had few people. And he said to the community of the world, all the community of the world, he said, I know you hate me now, but I promise you, he said to everybody, that they will sit Shiva on the time that he died. But they never knew he will die on Tisha B'Av. So he say, every year you will sit on the floor. So he told them that's what happened. Just a story about the Sir of Lublin, just to know the Holy of Holiest of all time. what make the Seer of Lublin? He could see everything from beginning to end. And one time, the famous story that everybody tell, every Chabad and all this, that's the story they tell tonight. Because he was so holy, he get to a point that he was so holy that you get closer to him, your hands start shaking, you leave. So it was a problem because nobody could cut his hair. And when it's getting longer, if you know the tefillin don't fit, there's no place to put the tefillin. So he asked to bring him somebody to cut his hair already. And everybody who come, they get closer to him, they start shaking, they're getting like burn in their finger, and they leave. So they didn't know what to do. It's like months. So they start going in the marketplace, and they found this, nice guy. Doesn't look holy, but he know how to cut hair. So they bring him in. So he come in, he brushed the hair, put a little water, and they start cutting the hair. Everybody's shocked. This guy, they never saw him in a synagogue. They never saw him anywhere. Cut it, make it nice, So the group of all the followers, the Hasidim, and the Jose of Lublin, invite him and say, please, can we please invite you to lunch? And, I'm okay now. He said, please. They want to check if you do blessing over the food, special blessing. No, he doesn't and eat. No, not even blessing. So the Jose and everybody looked and said, listen, something special about you. Can you tell us about your life a little bit? So there's nothing to tell. What to tell? I'm cutting his hair and I have to make money for my family. I owe a lot of money now. I say, what happened? So, well, I'm very poor. I don't have money. That's all what I do. And I have to sustain my mom was injured and to give her money. And so the Seer of Lublin said, it's got to be something special you did. So, well, one time I did something that people thought it was good. So what is it? So I saw a man that couldn't pay tax in town, and they brought the two soldiers and they started beating him up. But the guy was very old. He was 65 years old. So I said to them, hey, listen, if you want to beat something up, just put a sign that I'm replacing him. And I gave him a little bit of the money I have, the money I don't have. I gave him half of my money. And I stand at that time, I hugged the pillar, I used to hug it. And then people beat you up like about 30 times in the marketplace. And then I took it on myself. The point is, of the story again, I don't want to get emotional here, but what is that are we ready to take? Which pain are we ready to take from the universe right now? Not my own little pain, my country, my city, my neighborhood, my street, my children, my wife, my husband. What pain that not belong to you are you ready to take tonight from somebody else? If you're capable of doing that, not only you will be able to cut the hair of the Jose of Lublin, you will find yourself in a situation that you can see the temple. Because when you go there, you will actually see everything.